I give up on doing unpaid promotion on Instagram Amaze because despite what I have proven you, even with real numbers, real calculation, real transactions on my previous video on finding the best card to use for overseas travel, some of you still prefer to stick to cards like YouTrip and Trust. So in this video, I will compare these two, whether they are multi-currency cards, prepaid cards, debit cards or credit cards, and which is the better one out of these two after the revised terms and conditions. And of course, if you want the latest updates regarding to any nerfs and changes in terms and conditions, come and join us at our over 7,000 members Telegram group at Honey Money SG to ask your questions there. A quick introduction to those of you who are not familiar with these two cards. YouTrip is fundamentally a multi-currency card linked to the YouTrip wallet, and they will all exist within the YouTrip app. And how to use the YouTrip card? Firstly, you will have to top up to the YouTrip wallet using a credit card or the debit card, but it's more preferred that you use a MasterCard. Otherwise, there will be fees charged on non-MasterCard options. The YouTrip wallet itself is a host to multi-currency functions, which means you can do currency exchange on the YouTrip app itself for the approved currencies such as Singapore dollars, US dollars or Australian dollars or even Japanese yen. And this is a good feature for those of you who want to take advantage of the high rates in the current environment. Now moving on to Trust is quite a different thing. Firstly, it is a bank, okay, and it comes with its own bank account, credit card and debit card. But when you apply for the card itself, you can be switched between debit card or credit card. So I'm not going to talk about the bank account because that's out of the topic today. I'm going to focus on the Trust card itself. What can it do? Trust card acts as a loyalty rewards card for mainly the Fair Price Group merchants like your Fair Price Supermarket, Fair Price Finers or even the Kopitiam, which is managed by Fair Price. But even for non-Fair Price Group spend, you will also earn 0.22% link points. And the thing about Trust card is that it can be used as a multi-currency card as well because they do not charge any foreign currency fees, and at the same time, they do provide really good FX conversion rates. The downside for Trust is that it does not have an in-house multi-currency wallet like YouTrip does, so you are not able to do any currency exchange within the app. And also sometimes I do take advantage of the Trust discount coupons like my $3 KFC breakfast meal because it is really cheap after you have showed the counter the offer and then pay with a Trust card. Okay, enough about the brief introduction. I'll go through the specific features and compare YouTrip versus Trust. Which one is a better card after a word from the sponsor? See what I told you? This company finally woke up. Because now, when you sign up with Webull Singapore, you can win a total of 6 to 40 free shares from companies like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft or Google. And each share is worth from 3 to 1,000 US dollars. So now, in order to qualify, you need to deposit at least $100 and hold the deposit for 30 days without any withdrawals. Don't worry, there are no trade requirements this time. But one new feature from Webull is now you can do the regular savings plan, where you can finally automate your investments and use your time wisely on other interesting stuff. You will also get one lucky draw ticket where you can win $888 weekly and even get a chance to drive away with a Tesla Model 3 as the grand prize lucky draw winner. So wait no more, use my referral link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Webull account today. Firstly, let's talk about funds deposit. How do you even fund the account or fund the card? For YouTrip, it's a very straightforward top up. You can top up with a MasterCard and there will be no fees. And this is even for MasterCard credit cards because if you have heard the news, Revolut now even charges a fee for topping up with credit cards. Now on the other hand, for Trust, there is no need for any top up, although you can do a bank transfer to the Trust account and use it as a debit card. But you see, Trust can be switched over to a credit card as well, which means that you can pay and spend first, okay, and then once the statement is out, make your payment back to the Trust card. So YouTrip versus Trust, YouTrip need to top up, Trust no need to top up as long as you are using the credit card. Next, let's take a look at exchange rates. Which one is better, YouTrip versus Trust? And I'm going to use a Malaysian ringgit transaction again. And at the point of transaction, the spot rate between Singapore dollars versus Malaysian ringgit is 3.46. So to ensure it's a fair comparison, I'm going to buy 10 ringgit worth in Lazada Malaysia. And using my YouTrip card to pay after conversion, that's around $2.90 Singapore dollars. And this is exactly the same amount I paid on Trust card, which is $2.90 as well. So I can say that both of their rates are fairly comparable. There's not much difference. They are using the best rates available. To calculate the FX rate, we will take 10 divide by $2.90, and that will be 3.448, which was the effective exchange rate at the point of transaction. And to find the markup, we would take 1 minus 3.448 divided by 3.46, and that will be a 0.35% markup. Note that this 0.35% is the cost of using Trust or YouTrip card. But you see, Trust have an additional benefit because you get 0.22% link points, right? So you can use the 0.22% link points against the 0.35%, and your net cost will be only 0.13% compared to 0.35% markup on YouTrip, because YouTrip do not give you any rewards for doing any transactions on their card. Next, let's talk about cash withdrawals. And for cash withdrawals, YouTrip recently updated their new terms and conditions, where there will be no fees for the first 400 Singapore dollars equivalent withdrawn in foreign currency ATMs. And then there will be a 2% fee for cash withdrawals above the equivalent of 400 Singapore dollars. Now, that's quite comparable to Revolut already, right? Revolut gives you first $350 withdrawals for free. Now, YouTrip is upping the game to first $400 free. So let's be very clear, there's no more $5 per cash withdrawals with the YouTrip card anymore, because they have now changed and transitioned to this first 400 free, and after 400 you pay 2%. Whereas for Trust card, there is no fee for cash withdrawals as long as you're using the Trust debit card. So how it works is that you have to do a fast transfer to the Trust bank account, and then after that, switch your card to the debit card function, put it in the ATM, and now you can use Trust as a debit card to withdraw cash overseas. And to be super clear on both YouTrip and Trust on their free cash withdrawals, it only means that both of these two companies are not charging a withdrawal fee, but the overseas ATM bank itself may charge a fee, just like in Thailand or in Japan. So that would depend on the foreign bank itself. Moving on to the next point, excess funds. So let's say after your holiday, you have topped up so much money into both YouTrip or the Trust bank account, and you have a lot of leftover foreign currency. What can you do with it? For YouTrip, the money will be stuck within the YouTrip wallet, so the only way to use up those excess funds is to spend on your YouTrip card. Of course, if you want a way, then you should head over to our Telegram group and ask, because there are far better experts than me in this area if you want to learn on how to withdraw your YouTrip funds. For Trust, it is much easier because firstly, you don't have to do a top up, and secondly, if you did a top up to do any kind of cash withdrawals, now that you know Trust is a bank account itself, which means you can do a funds transfer from Trust bank account to your other individual bank accounts, and hence you can transfer the excess funds out of the Trust bank account to your own bank account. And that's why it may be more straightforward to use Trust instead of YouTrip. Overall, I would say that both YouTrip and Trust are very close competitors depending on the features that you want. Both are quite similar in the foreign currency exchange rates, but Trust will win over YouTrip for these reasons, such as there is no top-up required, there is no fees for any cash withdrawals even above $400, and also you can transfer out the excess funds. But is there a case where YouTrip will win? Then I would say it's their multi-currency wallet feature, whereby you can just use your Singapore dollars and convert to other foreign currency within the YouTrip app if you want to lock in the high rates. But I would say that this is just pure speculation. The rates may move up further or it may go down. All this you won't even know. However, having said all of that, I still do not prefer to use these two cards because my main overseas travel card is still Instagram Amaze, and I'll show you with real reasons and real transactions right here in my previous video on how I prove the best card to use overseas.